Hey guys, Firedragon here, and welcome back to Locked Heart again! I just can't stop playing this because Hada told me, guys! And I'm recording this directly after the other one, so I still am sick, so deal with it! I should actually be dealing with it. So, I wandered the halls of the mansion, unable to escape the echoes of Soul's confession. I know Soul didn't want the curse to bind everyone indefinitely. He just wasn't strong enough to break free of himself. I had to help him somehow. But how? How could I possibly do that to free him? I don't know how long I roamed before I passed a special set of doors. A strange thought came to me and I stepped inside. Gold's room was still in perfect condition, not a curtain or pillow out of place. I hadn't been here since Soul welcomed me to meet Gold. I suddenly felt anxious, not knowing where to look or stand. Gosh, this is so weird. Am I really gonna try and ask for a doll's help? Well, it is her heart in the locket. Yes. Pushing my skepticism aside, I stepped into Gold's room and approached her. I didn't have any options left. However, as I stared into her glassy eyes, the blue so still and innocent, yet empty without her heart, the doubt came rushing back. I felt like a fool. Just because I heard her voice doesn't mean I could communicate with her. Sighing, I started towards the door, defeated and concerned for the fate of this deluxe household. I couldn't break the curse, and now I couldn't figure out how to help Soul and Dion. I knew they weren't expecting anything from me, but after what the toy maker had said, I also knew that the burden rested on my shoulders. Still, I needed to be realistic. Gold was trapped in a doll's form. I couldn't expect her to help me. I should find Dion and talk to him. As I left the room, a small voice called out from behind me. Aura! What the? Spinning around, I saw a faint image of Gold just inside the door. I blinked several times, but she didn't disappear. This way. She waved her hand at me and I stepped towards the large closet. The doors were teak and the handles were pure ivory. I was a little afraid to touch something so elegant, but Gold disappeared into the doors, forced me to follow her inside. It was hard getting through the row of dresses, now too small for the youngest deluxe child to wear once she became human again. Eventually, I found Gold amongst the clothes, pointing up at the ceiling. She glanced at me with a particular sad expression, but it faded away before I could ask why. I had to fight the clothes a little more before using shelves and rods to lift myself high enough to grab the dangling rope attached from the door handle. Somehow I managed to pull out a fold-down ladder that continued into the attic. It was a fairly bright attic space because of a few windows short of the wall and on the short walls and above the roof. Dust notes floated through the air even though I moved around the boxes and support beams. Gold, are you here? I whispered for Gold, but I didn't see her again. However, when I glanced around, I found someone totally unexpected. Dion? Napping against a support beam was Dion. His arm was resting on a treasure chest, and his head was tipped in a slumber until I called his name. Startling awake, Dion flinched. Aura, how did you find this place? Believe me or not, it was Gold who led me here. Dion looked puzzled and opened his mouth as if he was about to reply, but he quickly shook his head, dismissing whatever he was going to say. Is this where you've been every day? Dion flushed and looked down at the floor, resembling a child who got caught doing something he shouldn't be. Not every day. I saw his arms tight around the treasure chest at his side. Curious, I stepped over to where he was sitting and knelt in front of him. What is this place, Dion? Even though technically we're still in the bedroom, they couldn't. I'm not gonna pressure that. Imagination. Use your imagination. Though he hesitated at first, Dion looked at me and then at the chest with a sigh and moved to open it. Despite his small smile, he couldn't hide the hint of sadness from his face. Inside the chest was a collection of photographs. I had a feeling. And craft projects. There were so many memories contained in there. I picked up a picture of Dion pretending to be a model a dress Soul had made out of lots of scrap fabrics. Oh, you were so cute. You two were so cute. Soul and I used to be really close. We'd tell each other everything. He was full of great ideas. I envied his natural creativity. When I turned to Dion, there was a nostalgic look on his face. There was a brightness about him as he shifted through his chest contents. I probably shouldn't tell you what I'm about to say, but for some reason, I feel like I can trust you. I flinched when Dion's fingers brushed against my cheek, catching me off guard. I thought he was gonna start flirting with me, as he had been since I got here. But he just pulled his hand back and looked into the chest again. The truth is, I took being the deluxe heir very seriously. I worked hard to keep our father satisfied. These pictures only represent a fraction of my life, the few moments where I allowed myself to choose my family. Sunlight was reflected in Soul's damp eyes. He continued back into the past, revealing so many chains that controlled him. It was a wonder his family could move freely at all. It made me reconsider what I thought about the Toymaker's decision. Such a cruel man. How long have these two brothers been torn apart by something so trivial? Soul was always a kind person. He'd smile at me and take care of everything, even if I was unhappy or hurting inside. Dion sighed and fell against my shoulder. I blushed at the sudden contact, but he seemed to be needing the comfort, so I patted his head and ran my fingers through his hair. I am a failure as an older brother. I've always known that Soul was hiding so much pain behind his smile. But even after the curse settled into our lives, our father died, I never tried to fix things. I called Soul a puppet at the time, but in reality, I'm just as much as a pawn in my own father's game as Soul is. So, your irresponsible behavior was just an act? Once your father imposed to make a decision seemed legitimate? Dion gave a small nod, his shoulders hitching. It hurt seeing him like this. I guess I fell into a routine that became natural response, even after 7 cursed years. It's not too late, Dion. Well. Soul is like, so frustrating. What do I do? I must make one choice, and that is all. Do I tell him to continue on their father's ways and be the heir? Or do I tell them break tradition? You don't have to be a royal family with heirs, just be people. Well. Let me look at you. I don't think you took it seriously, but now that your father's gone, I'm gonna say break tradition. Hope it doesn't come to kill me. Your father already changed the rules by making Soul the second child their heir. Why can't you and Soul just break free from the past? Dion sat back up and looked at me with uncertainty etched deep in his face. After a deflating sigh, he shook his head. Soul's sense of responsibility is too strong, and besides, his voice lowered into a whisper. I don't think he trusts me anymore. Not that I blame him. I hesitated at the defeat in Dion's words, not Soul's. Well, I could have picked the other option, but I'm sticking with my choices. It was obvious neither of them wanted to be trapped in the role of the Deluxe heir any longer. But I didn't understand why they were being so resistant to the change. As I glanced into the treasure chest of memories, the toy maker's words came back to me. It isn't always about cutting the chains of the past. Oh, well, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I make bad choices. Wow. I didn't understand what she meant then. But the longer I stared at the photographs of Sol and Dion, smiling and embracing each other when they had not only been good friends but also close brothers, the answer suddenly came clear. Of course, it's no longer about who the heir is. I can't just free them from their strings binding them to the present. I need to repair the bond they used to have before it was broken by family politics. Shifting the picture delicately with my fingers, I found another one with Sol, Dion, and Gold all smiling and posing together. Gold was caught eating a sandwich. Oh, it was caught in a sandwich hugged by her brothers, and I'd never seen anyone happier than that young girl right there. Dion, Sol had a dream the other day in his sleep. In his sleep, he asked what he'd do to make you hate him. Dion recalled in my words, his eyes wide and watery. What? Sol really said that? It was hard to nod at Dion's heartbroken expression. I handed him the picture I found and did my best to try to smile through the pain in my chest. You're his older brother, Dion. If you think he doesn't trust you, then work hard so that he can. I know it's scary admitting the mistakes you've made, but isn't having your family back worth facing your fears? For a while, we sat in silence. Dion looked as conflicted for a while, but eventually he did smile. To my surprise, he even chuckled a bit. Well, it's no wonder Sol's in love with you. Don't worry, I'm going for you next. Oh, no, wait, no. It's a hard choice between you and Mr. Sundari Teddy Bear. You didn't hear that. Shh. My body froze up, my vision blurring before my heat shot up in my face. I felt like I caught Sol's fever. Oh, what are you saying? Where did that even come from? Dion just laughed harder, his smile brighter than I'd ever seen it before. I tried to laugh too, but my heart was beating as hard as what he just said. Just then, it was suddenly hard to face him. You'll understand soon enough. Sighing, Dion leaned back and stared at the photograph. I knew he needed some time alone to think, so I held back on asking him to explain what he meant. I'm gonna go make dinner. See you soon, I hope. Sometime later, I was alone in the kitchen, slicing carrots in a haze. My hands moved automatically, which was good because I was still hung up on what Dion said before. I can see why Sol's in love with you. Just thinking about it left my cheeks feverish. He had to be mistaken, or he was joking. But Dion didn't have that mischievous smirk when he said it. Was he really serious? No, that's impossible. I think it is possible because this is an Atomi game. Haha. A sigh took the strength out of my shoulders. It took a moment to realize that the rejection hurt, even though I was the one who insisted upon it. I had been so worried about the trouble between Sol and Dion, I'd forgotten how my heart would beat whenever I think of Sol. Lady Aura? I flinched, surprised by Sol's quiet voice. I must have been in deep thought that I hadn't noticed him coming. Yes? You've done so much for me, but... I held my breath. But what? But I'd like to ask another request of you. Saul? Saul turned his head towards me, his cheeks pink as if his fear had returned. The thought, if that were the case, I felt like I must have caught it too. Before Saul could speak again, Dion floated into the kitchen. Oh, Dion! His face showed both sadness and fear, and I understood why. In his hands was a picture. I could see the paper trembling from across the room. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Saul sighed and nodded, a faint smile towards the door. Oh, what is it, brother? Did you need something? It took a few deep breaths before Dion found the courage I knew he had buried in him. I have something to tell you, Saul. Something I've been meaning to tell you for a long time. Alright, but... Dion was edging out the door. Even though I knew he was going to say, I understood he wanted to say it only to Saul. I looked up at Saul and gave him the biggest smile I could. It's okay, Saul. We can talk afterwards, okay? Ooh, bedroom. I wonder, this is Dion's bedroom, probably. So this is all a scheme of her father... pulled together. I sat on the edge of... Saul sat on the edge of Dion's bed, holding his forehead with his hand. He'd always believed Lord Delock underestimated Dion's ability, but he never imagined Dion was being used too. I'm sorry, Saul. Sitting next to Saul, Dion leaned on his knees, sighing in relief. He finally removed the weight he'd been carrying on him for 7 years. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I knew you'd blame yourself if I did. Silence befell between them. Dion wasn't wrong. Saul felt pained with guilt after hearing the whole story, especially after what he had said to Dion a couple weeks earlier. Dion glanced at Saul and then reached up to ruffle Saul's blonde hair into a mess. Hey! I knew it. Come on, Saul. Let's move out of the past and into the future. Aw, they're so cute as brothers. It's cute. Saul nodded, pushing Dion's arm away before the two of them fell into brotherly laughter for the first time in a long time. Aw, so cute. And he's calling him brother. Yay, happiness. Yay, I did something good. Brother, can we go see Gold? Dion stood up, looking down at his picture again. Yeah, I think we have something important to tell her. Yay! It's hard to explain what happened when I finally brought the stew into a simmer so it would acquire attention. Suddenly, a small light began to glow beneath my shirt, something I had noticed in the reflection of the pot. Aura? I knew that voice. I looked around the kitchen while trying to pull my locket from under my shirt. Aura! I finally got it free, the light getting stronger. Wincing, I held the locket in my palm. When I finally saw through the brightness, I inhaled sharply. The rest is clearing! I dashed out of the kitchen, holding the locket close to my heart. Following Gold gently calling my name, I ran through the mansion until I ended up at her room. Panting, I nudged at the door open and stepped inside. Lady Aura? Aura, what is that light? I could still hear Gold calling my name, so instead of answering, I walked over to Gold. Hands trembling, I took a deep breath and carefully slipped the necklace my mom gave me years ago back onto the girl who had given it to her. When the locket fell near her heart, it snapped open, revealing a picture of Gold as a little girl. My heart! Woo! The light bloomed in brightness then, all three of us shielding our eyes. Oh, she is so cute! Look at her! Look at her! So cute! So cute! She is so cute. I'm sorry, when it finally faded, the same young girl in the photograph was standing before us, just 7 years older. She beamed at us. No way. Gold. Thank you, Aura! You've broken the Deluxe curse! I stood there, both relieved and surprised. After so many weeks of nothing, Gold was finally human again. Even though I never met her before, I knew how much the mansion missed her. I glanced her backwards at Sol and Dion. Both stared at Gold, dumbfounded with tears glazing in their eyes. It was like the chains holding the brothers back had finally broken apart as they rushed forward and swept Gold into the same hug they shared as children. I couldn't help but laugh and wipe a tear from my eye. All three siblings were reunited, as it was meant to be. Is that it? Is that it? Is there more? After the Deluxe curse came to an end, life in the mansion exploded with activity. As it turned out, a few kids were playing in the forest and were surprised to see the Deluxe mansion seem to appear out of nowhere. It wasn't long before the general public all wanted to find out what happened. It was the busiest one with Sol, trying to handle all of the questions that had flooded the Deluxe estate. But it took a lot of his energy to divert the endless curiosity, especially as he needed to keep social channels open and maintained. Day after day, this continued, and the longer I spent away from Sol, the more my insecurity built. Despite all the time I spent here, it wouldn't change the fact I didn't belong here. I was just a traveler who got up in the curse, a girl on her way to be chef in a small restaurant one town over. The longer I spent in the room witnessing the flow of people, the stronger I felt about leaving. A week had almost passed. I decided I should leave. No. It wasn't hard to gather everything since I didn't have many personal belongings with me. I doubted finding my lost luggage, but that was okay. I just bought new clothing and necessities after I found a job. I held on to the hope that the restaurant would still accept my help, even though I had disappeared for a while. With heavy heart, I crept into the lobby. I didn't tell anyone I was leaving because my emotions would overflow if I did. Goodbye, everyone. I hope life gets better for you now. Aura, where are you going? I turned to see Gold dashing up, her hair flowing behind her in golden waves. Gold, I was going back to my old life, since the curse is broken and everything. My voice drifted in silence. My resolve had already weakened. I didn't want to leave. I loved it here, but I knew I was a commoner. This world was beyond me. Huh? But I don't understand. Reaching over, Gold clasped my hands in both of hers. Her blue eyes shone in the faint sunlight. What about your feelings for my brother? I thought that you, well... Her eyes were pinning me on the spot. I looked down, my cheeks red. What are you talking about? I spent a lot of time near your heart, Aura. I know you love Sol. Gold, Oh no, the phone! Okay, I'm back, so... Wait, please. Maybe I can stop you from leaving. Please don't leave without telling my brother how you feel. I wanted to tell Gold I couldn't say anything, not well knowing Sol couldn't reappreciate my feelings because it was his role as heir. But her pleading eyes made it hard to say anything. I think she sensed my hesitation because she sighed and squeezed my hand gently. Well, at least will you take the dress Sol made for you? Even as a memory, as a memory of the time you spent here. It's done? When did Sol have time to... Sol made the time because it was a promise to you. The tears made their way onto my cheeks, hotter than my skin. Even though I didn't understand why he would work so hard work on that dress for me when he was so busy, I felt happy to hear he did. Okay, I'm running farther in time than I should have. So we're gonna save right here. Continue it next time because I know I'm probably close to the end, but we're running quite far. Yes. So I'll see you guys in the next one. And probably it's gonna be close to ending. I don't know actually how long, but yeah. Bye.